At Easter dinner, in front of our entire family, my mother asked my brother about the money he owed me. And my brother, my baby brother, put down his fork, looked around the table, and said, "Mom, I paid Michelle back months ago, in cash. I do not know why she keeps doing this." 14 people believed him in the time it takes to pass the ham. 14 people, and not one of them asked me a single question. That was 7 years ago, and in a blue binder on the top shelf of my closet, I kept every transfer confirmation, every text message, every voicemail, dated, tabbed, totaled. 6 years of paper, from the first transfer to the night it finally hit a dinner table. $60,000. My name is Michelle. I am 52 years old, and I want to tell you about the most expensive lesson of my life. It is not about the money. It was never really about the money. It is about what a family does when the truth is inconvenient and the liar is charming. Let me introduce you to the charming. My brother Scott is 4 years younger than me, and he was born with the gift. You know the gift. He remembers everyone's name. He toasts at every wedding. When Scott walks into a room, the room improves. And when Scott breaks something, the room helps him sweep it up. Our mother, Arlene, calls him my sunshine. She has called him that for 48 years. Me, I am the responsible one, which in families like mine is a job title with no salary and no benefits. I married Dave, a school facilities manager, solid as a poured foundation. We raised one daughter, Emma, and from the day she was born, we did the unglamorous thing: $50 a paycheck, every paycheck, into a savings account we nicknamed in the banking app in capital letters, Emma College Fund. 16 years of $50 bricks. By the time Emma was a sophomore in high school, that account held a little over $71,000. I want you to remember the name on that account, because 10 years ago, my sunshine of a brother came to my kitchen with an opportunity, and by the time he was done, 60,000 of those dollars were gone, and I was the family liar. It started 10 years ago, in March, at my kitchen table with a laminated folder. Scott had found a restaurant, a buy-in on a barbecue franchise, a sure corridor location, numbers that only went up. He needed $25,000 to secure his stake, and the bank was, in his words, being small-minded. He said, "Shell, 60 days, 90 tops. The franchise pays quarterly. You will have every penny back by summer with a steak dinner on top." Dave was against it that night, quietly, in our bedroom. He said, "Michelle, money between family does not come back as money. It comes back as weather." I wish I had embroidered that on a pillow. But Scott was my baby brother. I had watched Arlene bail him out my whole life, and some part of me, God help me, wanted my turn at being the hero. So I transferred $25,000 from the only account that had it. The app asked, as it always did, "Confirm transfer from Emma College Fund," and I pressed yes, and I told myself 60 days. You already know the shape of what happened next, but the details matter, because the details are what I kept. June, month 3, Scott needed $18,000 for kitchen equipment. The seller was gouging him. Payroll was tight. Text message, still saved. "You are a lifesaver, Shell. All of it back by Christmas. I promise on my life." 11,000 went that fall, a 60-day bridge, he called it, while a beverage contract cleared. And the following spring, one last 6,000, delivered with tears in his eyes at my kitchen table, and the words, "This is the last time, Shell. I am ashamed to even ask." 4 transfers, 15 months. $60,000 to the penny. Every one confirmed by the app, every one from the account with my daughter's name on it, every promise arriving by text message, time-stamped from his number, in his words. I did not keep them out of suspicion. I want to be honest about that. I kept them the way a responsible person keeps things, out of habit. The habit turned out to be the whole story.
The asking years were worse than the lending years. Year 2, I asked gently. Restaurants take time, Shell, do not be like that. I asked again at his birthday. He hugged me and whispered, "First quarter, I swear," and then gave a toast that made the whole room cry. By year 3, Emma was a senior, holding college letters, and I was holding a banking app that said Emma College Fund, $11,200. My daughter got into her state school, and my daughter signed loan papers at 18 because her uncle's barbecue franchise had eaten her fund and her mother had let it. Dave never once said, "I told you so," which somehow made it worse. That Easter, year 3, at my mother's table, Arlene, who had heard a rumor of tension, decided to fix her family with an ambush. She said, brightly, over the ham, "Scott, honey, settle this money business with your sister so we can all move on." And Scott put down his fork. "Mom, I paid Michelle back months ago, in cash, last fall. I do not know why she keeps doing this. Honestly, it worries me. Ever since Emma's tuition thing, she has been strange about money." In cash, last fall. 14 people at that table. My aunts, my cousins, my sister Janet, my own mother. Arlene exhaled, relieved, and said, "Well, thank goodness, Michelle. Sweetheart, you have to stop this. Your brother would never." Your brother would never. I looked around that table for one face, just one, with a question in it. 14 people, and the only question anyone had was whether there would be seconds on the ham. I did not scream. You know by now what women in these stories do instead of screaming. I said, "Excuse me," took my purse to the bathroom, and sat on the edge of my mother's tub, shaking. And then my phone buzzed. I am not making this up. I have it saved. It buzzed right there on the bathroom counter, 11 minutes after in cash last fall. It was Scott. "Shell, do not blow this up in front of Mom, please. I know I still owe you the 60. Things are tighter than they look. Do not tell Brooke. I will fix it. Just don't make me look bad out there." I know I still owe you the 60. 11 minutes after telling 14 people he had paid me. I sat on the edge of that tub and I stopped shaking. And then I went home and I bought a blue binder. People ask why I stayed quiet after that. It is a fair question. I had the text. I could have walked back into the dining room and read it over dessert. Here is the truth, in pieces. Piece 1. My mother was 74 and recovering from a heart procedure, and dropping a bomb over her Easter ham felt like something Scott would do, not me. Piece 2. Shame. It is embarrassing, being robbed slowly by someone you love. You feel like an accomplice, because you were. And piece 3. The honest piece. Some part of me still believed he would fix it. Hope is the most expensive thing I have ever owned. So I kept the binder instead. Tab 1 through 4, the transfers, printed, from the account named Emma College Fund. Tab 5 through 11, the texts, Lifesaver Shell, back by Christmas, last time I am ashamed to ask. Tab 12, 2 voicemails on a flash drive. Tab 13, my own timeline, dated, in my handwriting, because bookkeeping is just grief with page numbers. And tab 14, the Easter text, I know I still owe you the 60, 11 minutes stamped after the ham. The binder lived on my closet shelf for 3 more years, and those years cost me things no judgment could recover. I became difficult. That is the family word for a woman with receipts she has not shown yet. I got quietly trimmed from things, the cousin weekends, the group chats. Janet stayed on the fence, which is its own kind of side. Emma worked 20-hour weeks through college. My marriage carried a bruise we did not name. And Scott? The restaurant limped, closed, and was reborn as Scott's next opportunity, the way his failures always compost into new confidence.
Which brings us to a Sunday dinner at Arlene's 4 Octobers ago. Mandatory, celebratory, an announcement. Scott stood up with a new laminated folder, a fitness franchise this time. Gyms, Mom, recession-proof. And my mother, my 77-year-old mother, clinked her glass and announced, misty-eyed, that she was taking $150,000 in equity out of her paid-off house, the house our father died still painting, to fund my sunshine's fresh start. The room applauded, and I looked at my mother's hands, and I thought about her living her last years on a mortgaged roof. The binder stopped being about my $60,000 that night. I went home, took it off the shelf, and told Dave, "Sunday, it has to be Sunday." Dave kissed my forehead and said, "Take the flash drive too." The next Sunday, Arlene's dining room. Everyone there. The folder, the paperwork from the equity lender, a pen lying on top like a landmine. Scott was mid-pitch, franchise territories, when I set the blue binder on the table. I said, "Before Mom signs anything, this family is going to spend 10 minutes with some paperwork of mine, 6 years of it, and then everyone can decide everything, knowing everything." Scott laughed, one beat too late. "Shell, come on, not this again." I said, "You are right, Scott, not this again. This for the first time." I opened to tab 1. Transfer, $25,000, March, 6 years ago. I passed the page to my aunt. "Read the name of the account it came from out loud, please." My aunt read quietly, "Emma, College, Fund." Tab 2, $18,000, June, same account. Tab 3, $11,000. Tab 4, $6,000. I had them pass each page around the table like a collection plate. $60,000, I said, to the penny, from my daughter's tuition. Emma signed loan papers at 18 while her uncle toasted at parties. Scott's voice came out reasonable, which is his tell. "Every family loans money, Shell, and I paid you back, cash, years ago. We all remember Easter." I said, "I hoped you would say that." Tab 14. I read it slowly, the way you read scripture or a verdict. Sent from Scott's number. Easter Sunday, 5:12 p.m., 11 minutes after he told this family I was a liar. "Shell, do not blow this up in front of Mom. I know I still owe you the 60. Things are tighter than they look. Do not tell Brooke. I will fix it. Just do not make me look bad out there." The dining room made no sound at all. Brooke, next to him, said in a small, flat voice, "Do not tell Brooke." "Do not tell Brooke what, Scott? What else does Brooke not know?" Scott said, "It's out of context." And my mother, Arlene, who had not moved in a full minute, reached across the table with one shaking hand and pulled the binder to herself. She turned pages for a long time, transfers, texts, the account name, over and over, Emma College Fund, Emma College Fund. Then she looked up at her son, and her voice was old in a way I had never heard it. She said, "You let this family call your sister a liar for 3 years, over Ham." And she picked up the equity paperwork, the pen, the folder, and she tore the signature page in half. Scott tried spin for about a week. The context tour, Dave called it. Phone calls to aunts, half explanations, the economy, the suppliers. Shell was always dramatic. It did not take. Spin needs doubt, and tab 14 had used it all up. Then my attorney's letter arrived at his house, and the tour ended. Her name is Miss Feldman. She is 5'2", and she reads binders the way other people read menus. She looked through mine for 20 minutes and said, "Michelle, in collections work, we dream about plaintiffs like you. Time-stamped admissions, documented transfers. He will not want 12 strangers reading tab 14 out loud." She was right. He did not.
We filed. His new lawyer blustered for a few months, and then, on the courthouse steps, the morning depositions were to begin, Scott settled. $60,000 plus interest, $71,500 in all, secured in writing, paid monthly over 3 years, with a lien behind it in case Charm made another appearance. The first payment cleared the following month. They have cleared every month since. Charm, it turns out, can read a lien. Brooke, I will tell you plainly, because you are wondering. Brooke did her own audit after that Sunday. She found 2 credit cards and a business loan she had never heard of. They are in counseling, and I genuinely wish them well. And I notice she calls me now, sometimes, just to talk. Do not tell Brooke turned out to be the sentence that cost him the most. Janet came off the fence with a casserole and an apology that took her 45 minutes and 2 glasses of wine. Fences, she said, feel neutral from on top. They do not look neutral from below. I hugged her. Fence sitters can be forgiven. They just have to climb down first. And my mother. Arlene came to my house 3 days after the binder. No ambush, no ham. She sat at my kitchen table at the same corner where Scott once cried about being ashamed to ask, and she put both hands flat on the wood. She said, I called my sunshine so long I stopped checking what he was shining on. You kept receipts for 6 years because your own mother would not keep faith for 6 minutes. That is my ledger, Michelle, mine, and I intend to pay it. It is not eloquence that heals you, I have learned. It is specificity.
The last settlement payment arrived this past spring. 3 years, 36 payments, not one missed, because liens are wonderful for the memory. Emma's student loans are gone. We paid the final one on a Tuesday in April, 10 years after I first pressed confirm on the wrong transfer. My daughter is 25 now, working in pediatric physical therapy, and debt-free, which was all that account ever wanted for her. And that weekend, we held a small ceremony in my backyard, just the 3 of us, Emma, Dave, and me. The blue binder, a rented paper shredder, and lemonade. We fed it through page by page. The transfers, the lifesaver texts. Tab 14 went last, and Emma did the honors, and I am not ashamed to say we applauded a paper shredder. I kept only the binder itself, empty. It sits on the same closet shelf, and every so often I see it up there, blue and hollow, and it reminds me of the rules I learned the expensive way. Let me leave them with you. Rule 1. When you lend money to family, part of what you are lending is your reputation. Plan for both to be repaid late. Rule 2. Keep everything, not out of suspicion, out of respect for the truth, which has a way of being outvoted at dinner tables. 14 people believed a charming man over a careful woman. Paper does not take a vote. Rule 3, and this is the one that matters. The receipts were never really for the family. They were for me. For the nights I sat awake wondering if I truly was difficult, dramatic, strange about money. 3 years of being called a liar will make you check your own math. The binder was how I kept faith with myself until the truth found a table it could not be passed over at. Scott and I speak now, carefully. He came by in the summer, stood in my kitchen, and said, no folder in his hands for once, I am sorry, Shell, not for getting caught, for Easter. That is the correct apology, and I accepted it. He's my brother. The son and I keep honest hours now. My mother still has her house, paid off, unmortgaged, and on Sundays she sets the ham down in front of me first, which in Arlene language is a formal proclamation. So if someone you love is spending your good name at the family table, hear me. Do not scream, do not plead your case over dessert. Keep every receipt, date every page, wait for your Sunday. Because charm talks, but paper testifies. If this story held you until the end, subscribe to Vermilion Veil. There's a new story every single day. and behind every veil, the truth is waiting to burn.